I'm here today and working on a 2003 Pontiac Vibe. It's been setting for some time, but my son is going to be driving the car. The problem is it didn't have any air conditioning. So I checked with my gauges and found out there's no pressures at all, so it has no freon in it. So the compressor is leaking. So what I'm going to do is go ahead and replace the compressor. But as I started working on this, I've worked with the belt tensioner, and I could not move this belt tensioner. It took a while just for me to get the belt off. So then it come to find out that I'll have to replace the belt tensioner. So that's what I'm working on now. As you can see here where the belt tensioner is, it's having, I'll show you where it's at. I'm taking this bolt off, but for me to remove this bolt, I've got to jack this engine up. But I'll take these two bolts off of here, and what I can do is I'll be able to jack the engine up to take the belt tensioner off. I've already taken the hydraulics loose. You can see where the hydraulics are. I've already taken the nut. Can you see that? I've taken the nut off of the hydraulics. So that's ready. So now I'm going to just go ahead and jack up the engine just a little bit, and then I'll take these bolts loose. Okay, cut it. Okay, so I've taken 3 bolts off from the motor mount, and I've lifted the engine up from underneath. I put a piece of wood on top of the lift so I don't damage my oil pan. So that's where I lifted it from, the oil pan. As you can see, now I have the bolt. That's why you have to lift it up, to be able to take the bolt out, so you'll have room. And then we tend to take it off. Take your piece off, and then you get it the best way you can out of here. Take my bolts. Okay, I've taken the bolt out. Now we can lift this out of here. Either take it from the back or take it from the front, off the side. And this is what was bad. This right here. And this is what we're going to replace and put back in there. This is what the old belt tensioner looked like that I took off. You can see that it's been leaking oil, so it wasn't being used very good. So even checking the belt that was on there, I'm going to have to replace the belt as well. I'm sure that because of this, it just wore it down. Okay, here, let me show you. This is how we tighten it up here, or loosen the belt. But this had no tension at all. It was just completely gone, so we couldn't do anything with it. But I managed to work with it and got it off. Okay, so it's just going to be replaced. All right, for now what we're going to do is take the fan blade off so I can pull the compressor. There's the compressor way down in there. That way I'll be able to get to the compressor. And I'll have to take some leads off here. There's a couple of leads that I'm going to be taking off right here and right there. I'll be disconnecting this power, and then I'll be disconnecting these two areas here, and then I'll be able to lift it up. I've already disconnected the battery, so we're about ready to go. So let me go ahead and disconnect these lines. I'm going to go ahead and take the power from here. Okay, now that I've disconnected the power to the fan, Now I can go ahead and take the fan off, and it has a bolt here and it has a bolt on the other side. So I'll be taking these two bolts off. Very simple. Got to remove the fan. Okay, got another bolt over here on this side. Okay. And then I'll disconnect this hose, overflow hose. Okay, then I should be able to lift it right out. There you go. There's my fan. Now put it aside. Alright, now see, I can get to my compressor now. Now I have plenty of room. So there's no Freon, as I said earlier, there's no Freon in here. It's already been leaked out. So I can put my 12 millimeter here and take this bolt off. Okay, now it's off, out of the way. And you can see the washers that I've got to replace on there as well. Okay, so now, see there's two bolts underneath, and then there's one at the top. And that's all I'll need to remove this. But I need to move this out of the way without hurting anything. Okay. Now I can remove these bolts. Okay, I've loosened one. I'm going to take this power out of here as well. Remove this power. Okay, now I'm removing the power. Move it out of the way. Don't want to destroy that. Now I'm going to take the two bolts that are on the bottom here. I'm going to remove them. There's one, got it loose. Okay. And here's the other one. We'll take it loose. Okay. Now all we're lacking is the bolt on the top, and that's it. And then it'll fall down. But you want to try to preserve the oil that you have in there. See how much oil you have. right. I need to take it out. All right. And that's our little problem child right here. So this is the compressor that I will be putting in. Checking everything, make sure everything is fine. That's the one that I'll be putting in to replace this one. But right now, I'm gonna go ahead and check the oil and see how much oil is in here and see what the oil looks like. So I'll be pouring this oil from the old unit, the old compressor. See if there's any shavings or anything like that in there. Okay. Let's see what it looks like. It looks clean. I don't see any fragments in it. So it looks like we won't have to replace the dryer here. So it's just a matter of putting this in, and that's about it. Okay, so now I put the compressor back in, and all I'm having to do is tighten up the bolts. Let me check which this is tight. Okay. And then I can hook this back up with the power. Power's hooked back up. Now all I have to do is connect these lines. But in the meantime, I'll go ahead and replace these washers. And before you replace it, of course, you always make sure you put some oil. Put some oil on your washers before you replace them. Okay, so I put the bag of oil on here, put the new washers in. Now we seat it back in. Make sure you seat it properly. All right. And then you put your bolt back in. And then you do the same thing that you'd done before. You go back and you put your fan back on. Tighten this, of course. So really, there's not much of a job to this. And then I'm gonna make it snug as a bug. Okay, so it's snug as a bug as a rug. So we shouldn't get any leaks from that. So now what I'm going to do is just go ahead and put the fan back on. Let me get the fan. Slip it back on. Back in its groove. There we go. And then just tighten it up, and that's it. to get both of them settled in here. Okay, got it in there. Now all I do is put the bolts back on and put my power back to the fan, and that's it.